All right, welcome back to the PRFFP. That is the Party Room Film Festival podcast. For this episode, I have Landers Panel. Landers, how are you, man?
Doing well, man. Glad to be here.
You were a newcomer for the year of 2021. Tell me about your initial reaction to the festival as a whole.
Yeah, like you said, Andrew he reached out to me, and I think Aaron about the same time this year. We were both newcomers. He mentioned it was something that they'd done last year, but he wanted to sort of keep growing it year by year and just grow the community and the fan base, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so he sent us the links, and the first thing he told me was like, "Hey, we do this thing. It's really dumb and it's really fun. It's called Party Room Film Festival." And I feel like those are both perfect descriptors. Super dumb, super fun. And it's kind of it's a classic nerd thing, I guess. But yeah, his first descriptor was like, yeah, we do like a short film in July and we just want to branch it out a little bit this year. Here's all the ones from last year. So I took a few minutes and watched through a few of them. Actually, he showed me some in person after he had told me that, because I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. I think I'd be happy to do that. And then he and his wife and me and my wife went out for dinner and to get some ice cream, and he was cackling outside, like showing me some of the ones from last year. And I was too. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to join. So that was the beginning for this year.
Mhm. So after he approached you and before the intro video comes out, did you do any type of special preparations?
So I wish I could say that I did, but to be blatant or brutally honest, no. I didn't have I had nothing planned until like really soon before I needed to start filming. And Andrew, of course, being the planner that he is,
Mhm.
he was like, "Now I am going to be in Japan right before. I'll be gone for like a month, so I'm in yours." This was after the video had come out.
Mhm.
So he was like, "I'm in yours. If you need to do anything with me, I'll be here for another week or something." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I just didn't have any ideas yet. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But now the short answer to your question is, before the video came out, I had absolutely nothing. Totally flying by the seat of my pants towards the end there.
All right, so the intro video comes out and you get the word convoluted and you get told that Andrew King has to be your actor. What was your reactions to that?
First reaction was that, yeah, convoluted is a tough word.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what I had submitted, but yeah, convoluted, I was like, okay, that's going to be tough to work in there. But again, to be brutally honest, I probably didn't read into it close enough or didn't listen to Andrew close enough. But I thought that it just needed to be in the film, like in the dialogue, not so much in the title. I didn't let that describe to me exactly what the film should be about. So I was just like, yeah, whatever I do, I can work that in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll work around that. And I had already done all my filming. I was in the middle of editing, and in fact, I was like writing the title. I was making the title card.
Mm-hmm.
I must have been talking to Aaron. I think it was Aaron and not Andrew, but I showed him my title card, and
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "Yeah, but your word has to be in the title." Wait, like convoluted has to be in the title? And he was like, "Yeah, was that your word?" And I was like, yeah, yeah." I was like, "It's in the film." He was like, "Well, no, it needs to be in the title." So my title is a total rework of what I initially had planned, but we can get into that later.
Did you have any original script ideas that you were playing with before we landed on Betrayal?
So what I had in my head was that convoluted was just going to sort of be in the film and not really play a huge role in like the meaning of the, if you want to say meaning, if you want to go that far, or
Mm-hmm.
like the concept of the movie. I'd kind of toyed around with a few things, but the first thing that I thought that really made sense and I thought would like strike a chord with more people our age and also coming from like the nerd background. It's
Yeah,
like
the nerd
that
audience.
exactly for the nerd audience that something I was personally struggling with and I thought other people would feel on a deep emotional level was the inability to like process Taco Bell food now that I'm like older. And I was like, yeah, that cuts deep. And I feel like that would resonate with people. My original title name was something that I thought nerd people also said, but it turns out it was mostly, I think, from Citadel, which is the term PTBF. Are you familiar with that?
I am not actually.
Okay. So
I'm
PTBF was my
also a one
first.
year nerd. In
Okay.
your defense, I'm a
I'm a
1 year nerd. I dropped
okay. Well,
out.
I'm a 2 year nerd, but like I feel like you still have more nerd cred probably than I do for nerd specifically. But
I did steal a microwave my first week on Nerd.
did you actually? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I stole Moose's microwave.
That's amazing. See, that's how you get in with the nerds, I guess. But yeah, the original title was PTBF, which means post Taco Bell fallout. That was a thing that we talked about a lot. Like, I
Mhm.
guess freshman year, I didn't even eat Taco Bell before college, and then freshman year on Citadel, we all started going all the time, and it would wreck me, but I would just keep going, and then eventually I guess I built up a tolerance or something, which is gross, but
Mhm.
um, yeah. So the term PTBF came from there. Originally, it was going to be something like Andrew was going to be the voice. I was thinking about doing like a voiceover thing where it was like a slow push in on. I was literally going to do something like maybe a minute or
Mhm.
less,
Mhm.
but just a slow push in on something like Taco Bell with a twist at the end. And I that sort of morphed into, as I was writing it, I was like, okay, it's kind of like a breakup letter, and I can keep the title PTBF, but it was going to be Andrew, and it was going to be Andrew like breaking up with Taco Bell, even though like he didn't want it to end or whatever. So, but then yeah, with the everything, Andrew was already gone, and I figured that was just going to be really tough to have him either in it or he definitely wasn't going to be on camera. So I had another idea, which was going to be, I asked Aaron if he would also be willing to participate, because another idea was going to be me trying to decide within like a really short time frame,
Mhm.
now that I'm like older and my body can't handle it anymore. It was
Mhm.
going to be like I was going to do the little angel and devil on the shoulder thing. I didn't know who was going to be who, but it was going to be Aaron and Andrew, and like one is telling me to go for it, the other one is not. But as I started writing it, it turned into the kind of like breakup letter thing that it turned into.
I really like what it turned into. I also
Good.
I love the idea of like, you're driving through a Taco Bell drive-through and like both of their heads pop up on your shoulders and are I like that a
Yes.
lot too.
Yeah. It would have been cool. It just, we can get into this more later, but I definitely painted myself into a corner with like the amount of time that I gave myself. So
Mhm.
it was going to happen this year.
That's one of the biggest how do I put this? That's definitely like a huge influence over the content that we do get to create is the how we use our time and how quickly we get to it whenever we start. But I will say this, Aaron had to leave for the Olympics. That put you on a bit of a time crunch. But I will argue that you used your actor in probably the most creative way out of everybody there.
Good. I was really pleased with that. And of course, I was thrilled that he was willing to do it, because I had the idea of him like either being a voice or something, but even if he was a voice of reason or whatever, I had the idea of the song. I think it might have even been Allison's idea. I think she might have said, "What if he sings for you?" And I was like, "That would be really good." And I bet he would do it. So I was just trying to think of the most melodramatic like breakup song. And I Will Always Love You is not really a breakup song, but I just wanted to hear Andrew sing it really loudly. So
You wanted to hear
if you
him
watch
attempt
the
to hit those
timeline,
notes.
yeah, and he did, and boy did he go for it. And it's the best part of the whole thing. It's If you look at the timeline for that video, it's like half of the video for a reason.
The speaking of like the timeline of the video and it being half of the video, there are a lot of special thanks in here, which
Yeah.
I'm sure were there, for the sake of padding time for the video.
That is very true. Those were, yeah,
But I
that was
would like to
twofold.
know who some of these people are.
Yeah, go for it.
I know vaguely who Don Mink is. I never had the pleasure of meeting, but I know who he is.
Yeah.
Jim Owens.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Oh, he's the dean of communications at Asbury,
Okay.
at for the School of Communications. So let me tell you kind of what I was thinking for. You're right on both accounts. That
Mhm.
for one, um, I just wanted to pad it for more time for Andrew to finish up the song. And two, I haven't gotten to this yet, but I was I had just gotten my wisdom teeth out when
Mhm.
I edited this, and I thought I was going to be asleep for like 2 days and just completely out of it, not able to do it. But the deadline for turning it in was like 3 days after my wisdom tooth surgery. So I just started editing like right when I got home. And
Like while you're
yeah,
still
so
loopy on drugs
I
and
was
stuff.
still I was high as a kite, to be honest with you. So I thought it was hilarious. And I was like in my head, I thought it was so funny, like making fun of all the people at Highbridge who were like thanking everybody that like it's like, you know, hybrid is great, but when you're thanking everyone that's like that got me here,
Mhm.
it's always, you know, Don Mink, Jim Owens, the people at school. So, and I, for some reason, I thought it was hilarious to thank them for me to be able to make like this terribly shitty project,
Mhm.
which anyway, it struck me as funny. And then the rest of them were the drugs that I was on while I was editing. A lot of them are.
So that's why there's a special thanks to midazolam and
Mhm.
hydrocodone, acetamine, and then of course
I literally
Advil.
just like Googled what drugs did they give you when you get your wisdom teeth out. And then I was also reading off like the pill bottles that they gave me. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
And then Whitney Houston sings the song, right?
So she sings the song, but originally it's a Dolly Parton song. So I think I
Okay.
put Dolly Parton in there too.
You did. That was going to
Yeah,
be my
she
next
wrote the song.
question.
She's also just, I mean, it's Dolly Parton, you know, you could thank her for whatever you want to thank her for.
Yeah, you put special thanks to her on basically everything you do. Just
Yeah,
shout out to Dolly.
it all goes to Dolly.
So you talked a little bit about the timeline of your film and how this was like editing started 3 days before it was due. Tell me a little bit about like when did your idea come? When did you start filming, writing scripts, etc.? Give me a little bit of a timeline
Yeah,
on how quickly you got to it.
it happened really quickly because it had to.
Mhm.
Because Andrew told me about it with plenty of time for me to, you know, come up with something. And I just couldn't, I didn't have it. I didn't know what it was going to be. And so I put it off. And then when the time really came down to it, I was like, I will submit something. I don't care if it's not my favorite thing I've ever made. I'm going to make something.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I came up with this few ideas of like I kind of had settled on the like theme of the Taco Bell thing.
Mhm.
Uh, and that happened probably when I was on, what was the deadline for submitting? Last day of July?
I believe so.
Yeah, last day of July. So I had the idea, I think, while I was on vacation with my family, just for the Taco Bell thing.
Mhm.
That would have been like middle of July. I didn't know what I was going to do, but came back and I remember it must have been a slow day at work because I sat at my desk and started just writing just to have something done.
Yeah.
This would have been like probably a week before due. I just started writing something and it turned
Wow.
out to be, I was like, oh, it's a breakup letter after I had like finished it. So then I kind of ran with that thing and I was like, Allison, can you help me with something? Of course, she already knew about this, but I was like, I need you to like, I'm about to get my wisdom teeth out in like 2 days.
Mhm.
So I need to come up with a list of shots today. And then tomorrow, can you just like drive around with me and just take my iPhone and just film me doing like overly sad melodramatic things. So it all happened. All the filming happened in one evening. Doing the like getting in the bath happened at the end of the night, obviously, because I was going to be
Mhm.
soaking after that. But yeah, we just like drove around and did all that stuff. Bought some Taco Bell and found some potting soil because I was like, I want it to almost be like a twist at the end, like I've killed someone or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but it turns out I'm just burying. I don't really know why. I guess to have the shovel in there, but burying the hatchet or burying the grudge of Taco Bell. The filming all happened within 3 days of due date. Um, yeah, yeah. So I filmed the night before I went in to get my wisdom teeth out,
Mhm.
and then it was due 2 days after that. So I just started editing when I got home
Mhm.
and yeah, I had it in on time. And I was actually, I know for a fact, I'm not going to call any names, but I know I was like way before a few people. So that at least I was in somewhat on time, whether or not it was my favorite thing I've ever made.
Man, that's crazy. Like you shot this
Yeah,
all in a week and everything.
really short timeline. Yeah, it came
I
together.
I can definitely understand the feeling of like just the creative light bulb just isn't hitting you yet. And you like kind of
Mhm.
feel that time crunch and you're like, this isn't really something I'm passionate about, but I want to turn something in.
And by the
Big ups to
time,
you.
yeah, I appreciate it. But yeah, I had the idea for the Taco Bell thing, and I was gonna be really I was really excited about the idea of like doing the like angel and devil kind of thing because I mean, if you wanted to really spend time on it, you could do that in a really crappy, delightful way. You know,
Mhm.
like even having Andrew and Aaron like green screened horribly on like my shoulders or something would have been really fun. But I mean, that's what next year is for.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves talking about next year because I still want
But
to
yeah,
unpack some of our film from this year. All right. So, is this a real tear
Mm-hmm.
you are crying in the film?
You know,
Because if it
it's kind of a
is, you
loaded
deserve
question.
Best Actor.
Kind of a loaded question. I truthfully no. It could have been, if just given enough time and enough. If I really thought about my loss
Mhm.
of, loss of ability for Taco Bell, then yeah, it could have been. But no, it was. I think it was probably honestly. It was when we were at the park when I was burying the Taco Bell.
Mhm.
So it was some ice cold drops from my water bottle. But I was holding my head back like this. So in
Mhm.
the shot, I'm like lowering my head dramatically.
Yeah, that
But that
way.
was really just because I could hold all of the water in my eye. And I was like trying to tell Allison like where to keep the camera and stuff because I was like gonna bring it down. And my eyes, I think it's like the cover of the thing too. It ended up being the poster. But
Yeah, it is.
yeah, that's the only reason that my head is also like slowly
Yeah.
coming down like that. But it adds to the drama, I guess.
Well, yeah, no, I would interpret it as you're looking up to God for guidance in this
Yes.
time of trials.
Yeah.
But, ultimately your focus comes back down on earth to the trials before you. And
Funny you
I
say
think that
that. That's
was a great,
exactly what I was going for.
yeah, exactly. I think you did a great job with
You
that.
honestly, you took the words out of my mouth, man.
Was it weird moping around in a public park?
Yes, but I'm probably not the first person to have done that. I feel like that's where people go to mope. I see that all the time.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a
basketball
sad.
court, trails. I was just trying to find like the most over the top, probably overly used, cliche, sad things
Mhm.
that also I could do in one afternoon. So,
Yeah. I definitely appreciate like the hand on the fence
mhm,
looking past. I appreciate that
longingly,
shot a lot.
looking
Appreciate,
longingly at a past that is already slipping away.
tell me a little bit about the rain sequence when you're looking out the window.
Same thing, just going for that like melodramatic, stupid, over the top sadness. I wanted to go with the looking out the window into the rain, but I didn't have enough time to keep building it up. But I had
Mhm.
the idea of like every time it cuts, like there's like more rain on the window. Um, but
Mhm.
there was no time for that really. So I gave Allison a 5-gallon bucket, and I said, just you have to hit this exact spot. And we only live in a 1-story house, but where that window is, she had to stand like she was probably throwing it up like 6 feet into the air. So
Okay.
I felt bad for. We probably did like the most takes of that shot of any of them because it had to be just right,
Mhm.
and I felt bad because she was like worn out after it because she had to keep like chucking this thing over her head. But yeah, that was the inspiration. Just like heavy monsoon rain.
Mhm.
Um, but it was a Lowe's 5-gallon bucket tossed at the window.
At the expense of your wife's arms.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Allison.
Why? So this whole film, you're wearing a hat, but you're not wearing the hat in the shower.
Hmm.
Just a little bit of inconsistency in
Hmm.
the film. Do you have any
Hmm.
comments on that?
People try to nitpick my work all the time, but no, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I don't remember why. Maybe it's just easier to wash clothes that aren't hats. But yeah, I really didn't take the time to think about my character's wardrobe, or what's the epitome of like the saddest wardrobe. I probably could have gone into that a little bit more.
Mhm.
I think it was just what I was wearing that day, and then didn't feel like soaking my hat in the shower. But yeah, looking back, probably should have gone with it. Would have been fine.
Did you have a permit to dig in a public park? Did you get the proper paperwork for this?
No, and to be honest, I was a little nervous that like I don't know. We were just in this park that's like kind of in a ghetto part of town,
Mhm.
and um, I was like, I don't think I should really be rolling up here with a shovel, a bag of Taco Bell, and a bag of like planter soil.
Mhm.
But we just tried to move really quickly and just get it done. So I was only there for like maybe 5 minutes. So no, did not get run off, did not get a ticket, and I don't know. I left some of the soil there. So like if you think about it, I kind of did them a favor, I guess. I'm going to come back in that one spot. It's going to be like fertilized and growing really well. So
Mhm.
really, if you want to ask if I did something nice, then
Has your relationship with Taco Bell been fully ended at this point in life?
that is the last time I had it. When I bought it for a prop, that was the last time I ate it. And I don't even, yeah, I don't like thinking about that. That's really sad. I definitely an era of my life has ended, has come to a close.
Is this based off of a real event? You know, was there just one certain meal that just tore right through you and
That's
you
a
were
good
like, I
question.
can't do it anymore?
Yeah. It's not exactly based on like one instance, just a
Mhm.
series of instances where it's like, I think I say in the movie, it's like reminiscent of an abusive relationship, where it's like you keep coming back and thinking like it's gonna be, it's great, it's gonna work this time,
Mhm.
and they just don't treat you right, and there's just no reason to stay. There's no reason to stay. So no, we're done.
All right, I want to get a little bit controversial here without myself being controversial. I want you to get controversial here.
Okay.
And I want to know, just because you made this film about Taco Bell, so you were clearly the connoisseur of Taco Bell in the group. Top five Taco Bell meals.
Wow. Okay. Well, first off, let me just say that perhaps even a larger betrayal than my body's betrayal to me from being repulsed by Taco Bell now.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say repulsed, not emotionally, but physically, yeah. The possibly the worst betrayal is the loss of the grilled stuffed nacho that I think was released in like 2013 the first time. It quickly became like my favorite thing I had ever had at Taco Bell. It's what I ordered every time. They took it away. They let me feel that grief. They let that sink in.
Mhm.
They let me move on. Okay. Because they
Yeah.
brought other things, things came and went. They brought the thing back just to bring that spark back into my eye, and they take it away again. And that, yeah, really that's what I should have made it about, because that is possibly a bigger betrayal. So yeah, the grilled stuffed nacho, I will never forgive them for that. I mean, I hesitate to put it up there as my number one just based on that. But yeah, it was my favorite thing. Second, again, with the loss of I feel like they've lost their way, to be honest. They're going down a bad path, which is removing the things that made them great, the things that brought them to where they are, the things that
Mhm.
gave them the status that they have. They are throwing to the wayside,
Yeah.
like the dollar menu. Okay, the grillers that used to be $1 that were the best thing. The grill, I have eaten grillers before when I literally had like $2 in my bank account, and I was like, I can go to Taco Bell and I can get two grillers. I have done
Mhm.
that, and I had like 60 cents left in my account afterwards. I was in college and I was a fool, and that's how I spent my money. Yeah, they don't even have grillers anymore. If I'm correct, have you been lately?
I haven't been to Taco Bell in like
Yeah,
2 years, I think.
so they don't even have the grillers anymore.
Mhm.
My number two would have been the beefy nacho griller. Fantastic. Used to be fantastic item. The
Mhm.
other one is the loaded potato griller. I don't even think they have potatoes anymore, or maybe they brought them back.
I think they have like some type of hash brown for their breakfast menu, maybe, but I'm
Get
not
out of
sure.
here. Get out of here with that. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, not
Sorry.
you. Not you. That's directed all at them. Any animosity is towards Taco Bell.
All right, number three.
Number three would be the potato griller, because you got the beefy
Okay.
nacho griller, loaded potato griller. I'm
Number
gonna have to go
four.
with quesarito. Quesarito on the number four.
Fair
It is a
enough.
classic, although even when I was in my prime and could eat Taco Bell regularly, the quesarito will shred you from the inside out. At least for me, it would. So I did not order that one very often unless I just didn't have any plans for like the next 2 hours.
It's the nacho cheese in that thing that
It
just,
must be.
it's gotta be.
Yeah.
Chicken or beef?
Usually chicken for the quesarito. I don't know why, because I got beef pretty much everything else. But yeah, chicken.
Okay.
What about you?
Chicken as well,
Yeah.
because I figured beef would basically just be a tortilla full of grease.
Hmm.
But for some reason, chicken wasn't in my mind.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The number 5, we kind of did this list backwards.
Yeah. Well,
but
yeah, that's true. That's all right. I should have gone the other way. But number 5, I mean, call it lame, I guess, but just the original like chicken quesadilla. Pretty solid item. And probably one that would not ruin me today, but I don't feel like going for it.
I mean, you
But
got
yeah,
to keep it classic. I like that. It's a simple
yeah, it feels
classic.
elevated classic.
All right. Well, that's their top 5 for the Taco Bell. If time or budget wasn't an issue, what would be different about this film? Like if I gave you another month and another like $1,000 to put towards the budget of this film, what would be different?
Well, I probably would have bought my first thought for the budget is I probably would have bought more tacos to bury because it just looked a little sad burying like 2.
Mhm.
But I mean, I just didn't want to dump. I didn't feel like buying, a whole bag of Taco Bell, which another thing, I mean, not to keep going back on all the negatives, but they're so expensive now. It was one of the best things about it is that it was cheap, greasy food, and it's not
Mhm.
even cheap anymore. You can spend $15 on a meal at Taco Bell, and anyway, it's not right. It's not right. That's all I'll say.
And not
But
get 15 items.
and not get 15 items, correct. If they still had the grillers, that would not be as much of an issue. But um I'm sorry, what was your question? Now I'm just thinking about that. The budget constraints. Yeah, I probably would have bought more props. For time, I probably would have, the story would have been a little different. I probably would have gone with one of the things I said before, where probably would have done I like the idea of the crappy green screen job of both Aaron and Andrew, probably, dressed up as Angel and Devil, makeup, the whole 9 yards. That would have been a good route to go as well.
Who would have played Devil? Who would have played Angel? Aaron versus Andrew.
So this was many, many months ago that I was thinking
We're gonna
about
burn
this.
some.
So
We're gonna burn some bridges here.
yeah, I feel like it would be, I don't know who it was going to be then, but thinking about it now, I feel like Andrew would probably be the devil in that scenario and would be telling me to go for it. And Aaron would be telling me not to go for it. Because I think Aaron kind of shares my sentiment about like, it wrecks me now. It's more expensive. It's not as worth it, whatever. I think Andrew's still a pretty big fan, which, no, I don't hold that against him. But yeah, I feel like that's how it would play out.
So is it a bad time to say that Taco Bell is the sponsor of this episode of the podcast?
It is, actually. There was not a good time for that. But
I'm gonna have to send that money back. Dang
yeah,
it.
well, I think that they were the sponsor until they heard my rants.
I do have Andrew's permission attempt to get a corporate sponsor from like Mountain Dew.
Please do. That would be awesome.
I think at the very least they can donate like 10 bottles of Mountain Dew to us. Like that's what, $20. They can do that.
They can do that, and if they see that the golden medal is literally an old bottle of Mountain Dew, maybe they'll feel bad for us, but also impressed and be willing to send more.
Yeah, I mean, they can buy us like a custom trophy or something. Like but truth be told, if I can just get $5 from them, that's a win for me.
I don't know how many eyebrows you would raise with asking for that amount.
I mean, like,
that's what people interact with them on Twitter, I bet.
I mean, like just some type of corporate sponsor, and I have accomplished my job. So can I ask some questions of Allison?
Hi.
Hey, Allison, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm just hanging out, getting to talk to your husband for a while. It's obviously a dream come true for me. I'm a big fan.
Absolutely. Me too.
I just wanted to know a little bit about, your thoughts on the festival. You got to be the camera woman for Lander's film. Was that annoying? Were you supportive? Tell me a little bit about your role in his film this year.
It was great. I didn't anticipate filling that role going into it. So it was pretty fun getting to help out and help brainstorm and help bring the film to life. I felt like I was a part of it more than I ever have been before. And the festival was super fun. I loved seeing all the films. Everyone was really creative and it was a great time. I had a great time.
Are your arms like super buff now from having to throw the water against the window?
Yes, I've incorporated that into my daily workout regimen. And so our windows are very clean and my arms are very strong.
She's ripped.
Going forward, are you wanting to be in some of his films rather than just behind the scenes?
I would do anything. I think it was more fun being behind the scenes. I feel like I just get anxious like acting and being like, did I do that right? So it was really nice to be a part of like the filming experience in a
Okay.
different way.
I need to know your favorite Taco Bell order.
I love the Doritos Locos tacos. So I get a couple of those. And then I honestly don't remember because Landers kind of has broken up with Taco Bell. So it's
Mhm.
not really an option
What do you
for
mean,
me
kind
anymore.
of? We have. I told him the last time I ate it was when we bought the tacos to Barry.
Yeah, I ate those.
And you ate them. I had one bite.
Yeah, I ate the tacos that like were the crumpled up wrappers, and then he just left the rest of them. So
To
Wait, you
rot.
just left them in the park?
No, we
No.
we threw them away.
Okay, I was about
By
to
the
say,
way,
let's.
I don't know if you can edit this in or whatever, but when she was talking about the Doritos tacos, I totally screwed up on probably my number 2. Everything needs to get shifted down one because my number 2 is the cheesy gordita crunch.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, that needs to. I'm sorry, but I
I'm
have
not-
to amend that.
I'm not editing that. That's
Okay.
insanity.
Yeah, well, it would be the cheesy gordita crunch, but you know,
But
okay.
I'll leave this part in, but I'm not editing that.
Okay.
But I think that's all the questions I had. I just wanted to, it's been fun getting to hear from the women of Nerd and
Mhm.
what their thoughts are on the festival.
yeah,
So-
the nerdettes.
The nerdettes, exactly. But yeah, thank you, Allison.
Absolutely.
Well, sorry for that blunder.
No, you're fine. Like I said, I'm not gonna go back and like
Okay.
switch it to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like that's way more effort than this podcast deserves.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, but I do appreciate you like wanting to have the honest answer and the top tier top
Yeah.
5.
I would just be I would be embarrassed if, any of my family listened to this and they know that the cheesy gordita used to have a place in my heart, probably
Mhm.
physically, but not anymore. So
By place in your heart, you mean heartburn, right?
I do. I mean arteries. Yeah.
Do you have any plans or concepts that you're playing with for next year?
Let me be honest with you. Considering the timeline I gave myself for last year, no, I have no plans. I have no ideas. But I plan on being much more on top of it this year. As soon as I figure out my word, I'm on it.
Mhm.
And I will dedicate. I was going to say my life, but I'll dedicate some free time that I have to making it a good video.
You're going to hop to it a little bit quicker than
I will.
I definitely can't wait to see where you go from here. After, doing your research and watching last year's films and then watching all the films at festival this year, do you think there is an algorithm or a perfect recipe?
Honestly, I think that the formula is short and sweet and with one kick of a joke and then get out. That's kind of my thought. And I try to go with that on this one. But yeah, I will maybe amend that formula a little bit for next year, play with that a little bit.
Actually, I don't know why I didn't have this written down, but tell me a little bit about your thoughts on Aaron Winiarowski's film where you were called the rotten roommate. Tell me a little bit about that.
That was great. Yeah, I don't know how much of that is based on his past experiences with me, but we haven't talked about it. But but yeah, I thought it was great. The sacrifice of his dog Chuckles was definitely a plot twist.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I didn't know exactly how to feel with the last line, which is, I believe you always were a rotten roommate.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's like, yeah, I know you have to put that in the title, but like,
Mhm.
you trying to subtweet me through your film.
So-
we haven't talked about it. We should probably talk about it.
It's
I have talked about it in therapy a lot, but not
Mhm.
to him. So
that wound is still a little tender, I take it.
Yeah.
Which leads me to this next question. Is there anyone you want to call out for this year, like grudge match style.
My first thought is actually not Aaron, it's Josiah, because he had my word, I think, and he took the trophy for the word. So like, I feel like whether or not we're paired together again, which we probably won't be,
Mhm.
but
You want
I
a
feel like
rematch?
I want a rematch. Yeah.
Awesome. Josiah, you hear that? He's calling you out, man. Landers, thank you so much for hanging out with me, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's been a joy. It's been a Baja blast.
Oh, that has no right to be as funny as it was.
I'm so glad I could use that.
That just, I don't know why, but that just tickled me. I'm so annoyed
so
about
glad.
it. I'm so annoyed.
I'm so glad. You're welcome, and I'm sorry.
All right. Well, this has been the PRFFP, and I'm just hanging out. Landers, come on.
Yes. I'm
You
sorry.
don't remember that?
No.
Just hanging out with my family.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, we're gonna try it again.
It's been some time, you know.
You were on Nerd for 2 years, Landers.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, this has been the
I was in the
PR.
corner. I was in the corner both times, so I was at the edge of nerd for 2 years.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But we're still gonna get it right. This
Okay.
has been the PRFFP, and I'm just hanging out.
Hanging out with my family.
There we go.